Carl Jackson here for Wealth Protection Research. At the very heart of our democracy lies a principle we hold sacred: free speech. It's the cornerstone that supports every freedom we cherish. Yet, in today's digital age, discussions about our wealth, our rights, and our future are being silenced or overshadowed in mainstream narratives, leaving many feeling voiceless in conversations that are crucial to our financial independence and security. This is where Wealth Protection Research steps in, armed with a mission that's never been more critical. Wealth Protection Research is not a financial advisory firm. They are defenders of free speech, committed to giving a voice to the silent. Wealth Protection Research tirelessly seeks out financial experts. These are the voices that challenge prevailing narratives, especially as we navigate the uncertainties of the 2024 election. Wealth Protection Research has created a 2024 election wealth protection report. This free report highlights the 3 best ideas for protecting and growing your money heading into the 2024 election. It contains ideas that mainstream media won't touch, and listeners can get it completely free. All you have to do is text the word IDEAS, IDEAS, to 76626 to claim your free copy. If you believe in the sanctity of free speech and the importance of financial freedom, then act now. Text IDEAS, IDEAS, to 76626 to claim your free copy of this 2024 Election Protection Report. It's time to widen the scope of what we're told, to hear the ideas the establishment does not think you can handle, and to take control of our financial destinies. Again, text IDEAS to 76626 to claim your free copy. Hello, it is Tuesday, April 9th. This is the Carl Jackson Show. Welcome to your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Had to get some stuff done yesterday, so I took the day off, but I am back today, and actually will be doubling up on a podcast this week. But I wanted to touch on this issue of Trump came out and he let his stance be known, or where he stands as it relates to abortion. And I want to say this. And listen, I think let me make this emphatically clear from the onset. The position that Trump took on abortion, and we're going to play the video, is that the issue of abortion should return to the states. Trump is absolutely right in that argument. It should be an issue of the states. The problem is, it no longer is an issue of the states because we live in a post-constitutional and a post-Judeo-Christian society. So what Trump accidentally did is he actually put the issue of abortion back on the ballot in 2024 more prominently. Now, listen, I love Trump. I know you guys love Trump. He's got to win in 2024. But unfortunately, the issue of abortion is going to be an issue that we're going to have to figure out how to message on and get on the offense on, because it isn't going anywhere. I'll break down why it isn't going anywhere. I'll break down some of the myths. Many people, actually, I would say probably most people that I listen to on the right are still convinced that the issue of abortion lost the 2022 midterms, when that could not be further from the truth. Now, that isn't to say that in some pockets, okay, in some blue pockets, all right, where I think we were going to lose anyway, there was no doubt that there were get out the vote efforts on college campuses. And the problem wasn't just the issue of abortion. The problem was Republicans did not have a get out the vote effort on college campuses. If you guys watched the podcast that I did with Avita Duffy, she talked about her community and her college where she simply did not see it. Meanwhile, you had Democrats on college campuses seeking out girls to hand them ballots and making the issue of abortion an issue. And Republicans simply did not have a counter narrative. They didn't even exist. So it wasn't just an issue of abortion. It was a GOTV, or get out the vote effort, that was severely lacking in 2022. Remember, we had a lot of people that showed up to vote in 2022, unfortunately, in all of the wrong places, or not the places that we needed. All right, so here's what I want to get into. I'm going to go ahead and show you the video of what President Trump said. And again, if we were looking at if we were in 2016, when he ran in 2016, this would be a valid argument. If we were And frankly, I'm not even sure if it would have been a valid argument then, post the Obama era. But Obama wasn't as far left as Joe Biden was, or Joe Biden is right now. But anyway, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and roll the video. I know many of you have heard it, but I want to go ahead and set up the video. Gabe has it ready to roll. We'll watch this video, and then I'll go ahead and dissect it afterwards. And then I'm going to play a video clip from by Whoopi Goldberg of The View, or of Whoopi Goldberg from the View, proving my point that we didn't just move the issue of abortion off the ballot. Basically, what I think the Trump campaign wanted to do is take on this issue front and center, take it on quick and take it on early, get it out of the way for the 2024 election. But again, you're not dealing with Democrats. You're dealing with communists. Joe Biden has nothing to run on, so he's going to run on abortion. He's going to run on student loan debt. He's going to run on Ukraine. He's going to run on Trump as a criminal. None of these issues are going away. And I got to be frank with you. I'm a little concerned given everything that the left has thrown at former President Donald Trump, including all of these persecutions that are happening in courtrooms across the country, that his team does not seem to get. This issue isn't going away. We're dealing with communists. We're not dealing with Democrats. Without further ado, here's President Trump.
The Republican Party will always support the creation of strong, thriving, and healthy American families. We want to make it easier for mothers and families to have babies, not harder. That includes supporting the availability of fertility treatments like IVF in every state in America. Like the overwhelming majority of Americans, including the vast majority of Republicans, conservatives, Christians, and pro-life Americans, I strongly support the availability of IVF for couples who are trying to have a precious baby. What could be more beautiful or better than that? Today, I'm pleased that the Alabama legislature has acted very quickly and passed legislation that preserves the availability of IVF in Alabama. They really did a great and fast job. The Republican Party should always be on the side of the miracle of life and the side of mothers, father, their beautiful babies, and that's what we are. IVF is an important part of that, and our great Republican Party will always be with you in your quest for the ultimate joy in life. Many people have asked me what my position is on abortion and abortion rights, especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted and, in fact, demanded be ended. Roe v. Wade. They wanted it ended. It must be remembered that the Democrats are the radical ones on this position because they support abortion up to and even beyond the 9th month. The concept of having an abortion in the later months and even execution after birth, and that's exactly what it is. The baby is born, the baby is executed after birth, is unacceptable, and almost everyone agrees with that. My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land, in this case, the law of the state. Many states will be different. Many will have a different number of weeks, or some will have more conservative than others, and that's what they will be. At the end of the day, this is all about the will of the people. You must follow your heart or, in many cases, your religion or your faith. Do what's right for your family and do what's right for yourself. Do what's right for your children. Do what's right for our country and vote. So important to vote. At the end of the day, it's all about will of the people. That's where we are right now, and that's what we want, the will of the people. I want to thank the 6 justices, Chief Justice John Roberts, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, and Neil Gorsuch, incredible people, for having the courage to allow this long-term, hard-fought battle to finally end. This 50-year battle over Roe v. Wade took it out of the federal hands and brought it into the hearts, minds, and vote of the people in each state. It was really something. Now it's up to the states to do the right thing. Like Ronald Reagan, I am strongly in favor of exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. You must follow your heart on this issue, but remember, You must also win elections to restore our culture and, in fact, to save our country, which is currently, and very sadly, a nation in decline. Our nation needs help. It needs unity. It needs us all to work closely together. Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, everyone, we have to work together. We have to bring our nation back from the brink, and that's where it is. It's at the brink, and we will. We will do it. I promise you, we will do it. Always go by your heart, but we must win. We have to win. We are a failing nation, but we can be a failing nation no longer. We will make our nation great. We will make our nation greater than ever before. Thank you very much.
All right, so that was former President Donald Trump and issuing his stance on abortion, in which I will, again, I will speak to just shortly. But before I do that, now I want to take you to a video of The View, Whoopi Goldberg on The View. And I just want to set this up, because if you think, guys, listen, man, I don't know what it is. Actually, let me just say this on the interim. I mentioned this in the beginning. Let me just, I'm hopefully going to say this and state this more clearly this time. Trump just guaranteed that the issue of abortion remains on the ballot and is even more prominent on the ballot in 2024. But you know why? Just like I said before, the Democrats have nothing else to run on. Joe Biden has no accomplishments to run on. He's bragging people with bribing voters right now, offering to get rid of student loan debts again. And if he fails, what'll happen is he'll just be able to argue, well, I tried. That's exactly what they're trying to do. The issue of abortion is a big issue for them. That is part of their base. The anti-Israel base, anti-Jewish base, that's part of his base. The Ukraine war, the Trump persecutions, all of these things they're going to be running on, and they are not going to let him up because he has no reason to let him up. And if we run away from the issue of abortion and the left sees that we're scared of the issue of abortion instead of confronting it right on or confronting it head on, then what are they going to do? They're going to continue to use it against us. If Trump wanted to take this off of the ballot or take this issue off of the he'll never be able to completely take it off the ballot per se. But if he wanted to make this issue an issue where Democrats were on the defense, then he should have said, and honestly, I believe in a much stricter law, but for the sake of winning elections, he should have gone where everybody was. And the consensus was 15 weeks for a national abortion ban, even though, listen, I don't agree with that. I think there should be a ban. I understand that I'm on the outskirts, I guess, of society when it comes to that issue. But if you go 15 weeks, you put Democrats on the defense, even with independents. So now, again, Trump wanted to get this issue behind us per se. He wants to win, as all of us wants to win. But again, he just guaranteed that Democrats are going to continue to pound him on this issue and others, and it will be an issue, an even bigger issue now that he's spoken out on it. He did the exact opposite. He accomplished the exact opposite of what he wanted to do. Now, guys, let me say this. Trump is still our best hope to try and stabilize the bleeding, the bloodbath, if you will, that the left is putting us through in the United States of America, absolutely destroying this country. It isn't my goal to attack him, but it is my goal to share truth with you and help you to understand the enemy. All right. And right now, for whatever reason, I don't know who advised Trump, but somebody in his campaign still doesn't understand the enemy. It's as if we're still dealing with Democrats when we're dealing with communists. Let's go ahead and play the video of Whoopi Goldberg, and then I've got some points that I want to use to make my point or to solidify my point, and then we'll end it. This is the Carl Jackson Show, guys. Please make sure that you review the Carl Jackson Show wherever you go to get your podcast. Please give us a review, give us a 5. That'll help us to move up the charts. More people will get to hear us. If you're on social media, all things social media at the Carl Jackson Show. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, True Social Getter, wherever I am on social media at The Carl Jackson Show. Subscribe and share the podcast as well. We would appreciate that. Gabe, let's go ahead and roll the next video. This is Whoopi Goldberg in response. If you think this issue is going to be put somewhere in the, put in the rear view mirror, guys, you got another thing coming. We're going to have to fight for this country. We're going to have to fight for our beliefs, whether you want to or not. We have no choice anymore. We have no choice. All right. We can't pretend like we're in 2016 or 2010 or it's a different America. It is a post-constitutional, post-Judeo-Christian America. And we are going to lose every freaking battle if we don't realize that today. All right. Here's Whoopi Goldberg.
No one is obligated to have an abortion. So you never have to have one. And I hope no one ever has to have one. But if you find yourself in a position where you have to, I want to make sure, and I'm way past having kids. I want to make sure, yes, way past. I want to make sure that if you decide this is what you need to do, I'm going to get behind you because I don't know your life. And if you say this is what you need, that's what I'm going to do. 50 weeks, 75,000 weeks, whatever, how many weeks, it's nobody's business. It's you, your doctor, and God. That's who you have to be conversational to. And it's not mentioned in the Big Ten. I'm just going to say. No. In the Big Ten, it is not meant.
The commandments?
Yeah. Because I figure God was pretty clear. Here's the stuff that'll make your life better on earth. Here's the thing. Don't lie, because you don't want people lying to you. Don't mess with somebody's wife, because you're going to be mad if they're messing with yours. Just, common sense stuff.
Say, thou shalt not kill.
They believe that.
Yes, well, here's the thing. I think thou shalt not kill cannot be used as the block because we allow wars all the time.
Yes, we do.
The Crusades
we allow the death penalty.
Were about all these things.
We allow guns.
Yes. So there is some conversation to be had here. So you can either thou shalt not kill for everybody.
Yes.
And everything.
And everything. Or we have to talk about all the things that you and I need to do. And I have to, I need to give you.
Okay, so there's several scriptures in the Bible that just proves Whoopi Goldberg wrong. Leviticus 18:21, Deuteronomy 12:31, 2 Kings 23:10. I mean, it goes on and on and on. You don't listen to it. I don't know if she's an atheist or an agnostic. I believe she's an agnostic. I could be wrong on that, but I believe that's what she is. First off, so I'm not going to listen to an agnostic on my understanding of the Bible, and she couldn't be further from the truth. The Bible also tells you that God knew who you were before you were born. He knew he knew the number of hairs on your head. Before you were born, I knew you. All right, so Whoopi Goldberg doesn't know what she's talking about on the issue of the Bible. So don't take any biblical advice from Whoopi Goldberg, or for that matter, any of the ladies of The View. Another thing that I noticed Whoopi Goldberg failed to mention was the father. In any of these situations, it's between the woman, it is between God, and it is between the doctor. Never mind the fact that there's a lot of doctors that believe in depopulating the society, a lot of sick, evil people, as we learned during the COVID lockdowns, that are in the medical industry, sadly, from doctors and nurses to part of the administration. So we've learned that lesson. So this is, just absolutely disgusting. But let this be a lesson learned. Anything that we try to run from and the left senses that we're afraid to take on, guess what they're going to do? They're going to continue to take on the issue. The easiest way to put on the left, and Trump did it. Honestly, listen, again, it is the right position in the wrong era. It's just we're living in different times. You have people that don't respect the Constitution of the United States. You have people that don't love America. You have people that don't respect the rule of law in the United States of America. Our country is growing more and more godless. We are drifting further and further away from our founding principles. And so for us to sit here and pretend and believe that we live in the same type of culture, it's just insane. I mean, I listened to some radio on Fox News radio this morning or whatever, and I was listening to a couple of conservatives go back and forth. And I mean, it's what people generally believe. Oh, you know, Trump said leave the issue to the states. That's the right stance. Yeah, it is in a society where people still loved our Constitution. But when you have at least half of Americans that say, you know, that America is an evil place, I mean, it's insane. You guys saw this guy. Actually, we'll save that for another podcast. The guy, I forget where he was, chanting death to America. But this is where we are. And that's Joe Biden's base. That is Joe Biden's base. These people are insane. All right, so let me just go over these. There was some, obviously, there was some pushback from right-wing groups, or from, I shouldn't say right-wing, from pro-life groups. Even Lindsey Graham, regardless of how you feel about him, and I do believe that Lindsey Graham is a rhino, but he seems to have the right stance on the issue of life, and he is getting pilloried on X from, you know, Trump supporters. Oh, you this, you that, over the issue of life. Guys, let me tell you something. When you go meet God, when you're face to face with God, do you think he's going to be more concerned about if you aligned with Trump or if you aligned with God on the issue of life? You better think this stuff through. And frankly, you don't have a society if your society doesn't respect life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. You don't have a civilized society if you have a society that doesn't respect the issue of life. So you better understand how big this fight is. You know, I used to kind of, be not iffy. I was pro-life, but I wasn't sure how prominent this issue should be in the arena of politics. I remember even talking to God about it one day on a car ride. And I was like, God, why should I be so concerned about this? Why is this such a big issue to you? And then, as clear as day, the scripture that I shared with you earlier, before you were born, I knew you. And I was like, oh my Lord, this is a spiritual battle. Some of you won't understand that, and some of you want to avoid it. You're not going to be able to avoid it. God is asking us to fight. And you don't fight by surrendering. You don't fight by ceding ground. You fight by putting the enemy, and I'm sorry, I believe the left are enemies. You put them on defense. Now, here's what, again, just to reiterate some of what Trump said. My view is now that we have abortion where everyone wanted it from a legal standpoint. The states will determine by vote or legislation, or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land. In this case, the law of the state. Well, we don't have abortion where everybody wanted it. That's why you had Christine Blasey Ford come out and do this character assassination of Justice Kavanaugh and lie about him being a part of some gang rape against her or something. That's why you had this radical left-wing Democrat that attempted to assassinate Justice Kavanaugh. So it simply isn't true that everyone got what they wanted from a legal standpoint with the abolition of Roe v. Wade. Nothing could be further from the truth. That's just factually wrong. I don't know who wrote that for him, but that's just factually wrong. All right. And then here's where he was right. He says many states will be different. Many will have a different number of weeks, or some have more conservative than others. And that's why they will be at the end of the day, it's all about the will of the people. That's where we are right now. And that's what we want, the will of the people. Well, that's what we want. That's not what the left wants. And that's not what the left is going to do. So when we're weak on an issue, the left knows exactly where they can pounce. And guys, again, it's not an issue that I want to take on. I don't want to make it a centerpiece of the election. But now we've just made it. Trump just made it where you have to defend it. He did the exact opposite of what he intended to do. And I'm not knocking him. I understand what he wanted to do. I understand what he wanted to accomplish. It's just the wrong era. It's just the wrong era. It should be left to the states, but you got godless communists now that are using mechanisms to try to undermine states' rights. And if we don't nip that in the bud, we're not going to have an America. We are going to have centralized government control, a centralized control government, from EVs to the number of births or number of babies you can have. They want to control everything. And I don't know why we're sticking our heads up our arses and pretending they want otherwise. It's insane to me. Here's what the Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America group were pretty frustrated at Trump. And again, his argument is right. It's just in the wrong era. It's just in the wrong era. But this is Marjorie Dannenfelser. Forgive me if I butchered your name. She says, we are deeply disappointed in President Trump's position. Unborn children and their mothers deserve national protections and national advocacy from the brutality of the abortion industry. The Dobbs decision clearly allows both states and Congress to act. She went on to saying the issue is back to the states, cedes the national debate to the Democrats, who are working relentlessly to enact legislation mandating abortion throughout all 9 months of pregnancy. If successful, they will wipe out states' rights. And here's what you have to understand. If you're a person that says, listen, I'm pro-choice, I don't want to be involved in this fight, guys, it's not about that. What they're doing is using the issue, the left, using the issue of abortion to advance their agenda. They're using the issue of Ukraine to advance their agenda. They're using the issue of trans to advance their left-wing communist agenda. This is what you have to understand. It isn't necessarily about the issue itself as much as the left will use the issue in order to advance their communist agenda. And that is a total takeover of the federal government, where you're a serf. When states are systematically killing babies, at some point you have to realize, EVs, climate change, depopulation, World Economic Forum. You got to start putting the pieces together, man. I mean, this is crazy. And then you have to answer this question: as a free person, as a free thinking person, who gets to determine life? What a life is, what a life isn't? Who gets to determine when a child is a child? Does God get to do that? Or does the Democrat Party get to do that? See, because if the government can decide when life begins, then they can decide when your life ends. You get that, right? Man, that was so good, Gabe. I got to say it again. If the government can decide when your life begins, the government can decide when your life should end. Gabe, you should get that on a snippet. That was good stuff. That was preaching right there. All right. All right, so you may have heard that Mike Lindell and MyPillow no longer have the support of the big box stores. They've been trying to destroy his company and him, quite frankly. They've been part of this cancel culture that's been aimed at them. So here's what's happening. They want to pass the savings directly on to you by having a $25 extravaganza. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a one-product company. With the help of his dedicated employees, they now have hundreds of products, some you may not even know about. So to get the word out, I want to invite you, my listeners, to check out their $25 extravaganza. This is insane. You get a 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, just $25, or the MyPillow sandals are just $25. Their 6-pack towel sets are just $25. Brand new 4-pack dish towels, you guessed it, just $25. For the first time ever, the premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, just $25. Orders over $75 will receive free shipping too. All you have to do to take advantage of this amazing offer is go to mypillow.com and use the promo code Carl. That is C-A-R-L. Use the promo code Carl, or give them a call at 800-858-0263. Again, 800-858-0263. Promo code Carl, C-A-R-L. We don't spell it like the commie. All right. Thank you. So Lindsey Graham has been bashed as a result. Not a fan of Lindsey Graham, but this is one issue. I don't think it doesn't. Frankly, I don't think it hurts Republicans. I think it would help Republicans if we were willing to take the fight on. And then I think we could focus on the other issues. I think we should be able to focus on the economy, the rule of law that the Democrats are undermining. But they're going to keep using these issues when they see that we're scared of them in order to get an emotional response from their voters. So let's just look at this issue practically. All right. This is an issue that we won't be able to get behind us. Again, no matter how hard we try or how much we wish it to be true, it simply isn't going to happen. The left is never going to stop talking about or advancing their extreme views on abortion because, one, Joe Biden has no accomplishments to run on. Two, they believe in depopulating the earth, as I mentioned earlier. And three, the right keeps ceding ground to the left. We can't be on defense and win an issue. All right. At some point, we got to go on the offense. And one of the things, or some of the things that I love that Trump said, I wish he would have just stuck with that. States' rights issue. All right. OK. Even though the left doesn't believe that, but states' rights issue, they're the radicals. They're the extremists. He's absolutely right on that. But in my opinion, that's where he should have tried to trap them. And what I'd like to do, the left wants to nationalize abortion, unlimited abortion, to the point where a mother could name her child and then decide, you know what, not for me. All right. I'm scared. Not for me. You know what I'm saying? Put them on the defense. I really don't understand. I really don't understand how we're so weak on this when it's so easy. You're telling me you're more compassionate when you want to stick some type of knife in the back of a baby's skull and suck its brains out? I don't get how it's so difficult to put the left on the defense on this issue. It makes no sense to me. It just doesn't. I feel like we can win this issue and move on from it for a generation or so. But we don't want to do it. We want to keep ceding ground to the right. All right. The second thing that I want to make mention of. All right. So the first thing, the right won't be able to put this issue behind us. The left isn't going to let us. Again, Joe Biden has no accomplishments. The left believes in depopulating the earth, and we keep ceding ground. We keep putting ourselves on defense unnecessarily. Second point I want to make, Trump's view isn't wrong per se. Constitutionally speaking, which I already mentioned, it's simply outdated in a post, or I should say underscore, not make, but on underscore. It's simply outdated in a post-constitutional, post-Judeo-Christian, pro-squad, pro-George Soros era. We're acting as if we're dealing with Democrats, and we're not. We're dealing with communists. Understand that. The third point I want to underscore, when it comes to the issue of independence, this is something that fascinates me. We're always concerned about independence. Where will independence stand? Where will, on the issue, we want to win over independence? Guys, have you guys noticed how independents, when it comes to the issue of abortion, many of them, in my opinion anyway, seem to be amoral on these topics? You notice how the culture has gone increasingly left on the issue of abortion? You notice that? Why is that? Because there's never been a counter narrative. Because we're always ceding ground. And it isn't just with abortion. It's on spending. It's on war. The right is constantly ceding ground to the left. The left, whether they win or lose, they always advance their narratives to the point where you hear it so much, you're like, oh my God. I mean, even to the point of the trans issue. Look at the coach that just won, the female coach. I forget her name. She used to play for the WNBA, and now she's the coach of South Carolina. They just won the national championship against Iowa, Caitlin Clark's team, the GOAT, by the way, of women's college basketball. The left doesn't want to admit it because she's white, but she is the GOAT of women's college basketball. But look at her. When she was asked the question of whether, biological men should be able to play in women's sports, she basically ceded ground. I'm not even sure if she believes it, as opposed to whether she was just too scared to tell the truth. But she knows the truth. And just a couple of years ago, nobody in their right mind would have said, "Oh yeah, of course, chicks with God forgive me, I almost said it. Of course, dudes that have not had a chopathectomy don't belong in women's sports." And now you get women that are scared to say it. I mean, it's insane where we are in just a couple of months or a couple of years, and the only reason why is because there is no counter narrative. It's like we're ceding ground. We have Bruce Jenners coming into our party, pretending as if men can be women, instead of saying, whoa, no, I'm sorry. We're not going to crazy town. Listen, Bruce, free country. You do what you want to do. We're not going there with you. I'm not going to buy into this fantasy with you. I'm sorry. I don't do that. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that for anybody. Not for a political party, not for a man, not for anybody. That's not what you're going to get on the Carl Jackson Show. All right. I'm going to just bring you the truth as I see it. But getting back to this issue of independence, so many of them, in my opinion, they want their heartstrings tugged, if you will. They want to feel good. They want to feel virtuous. That's why Whoopi Goldberg can make the nonsensical argument that she made. I'm going to leave it between God, a woman, and really, you agnostic, you're going to send a woman straight to hell. Yeah, and the doctor and everybody else involved. In the name of compassion. Guys, you have to make the moral case. This supersedes the Constitution. Morality does, all right? You have to make the moral case. Sin is sin. I'm sorry. And I do believe that if you start forcing the issue, if you start putting the left on defense, and you don't even have to make it a prominent issue, just whenever it pops up, squash it in the head. Whenever a leftist comes on and say a woman should have the right to do this and that. Okay, first off, when the issue of rape, incest, and murder, it's extremely rare. I mean, I don't know, 1% of the cases, and I'm not minimizing that, excuse me, but it's exceptionally rare. Republicans need to make that case and then ask the question, why are you willing to depopulate the American society, U.S., U.S. citizenry? Why are you willing to kill a baby all the way up until the time of birth? Make them answer the question. When Gavin Newsom was in a debate that Sean Hannity hosted with Governor DeSantis, he couldn't defend the question. Nobody can. Nobody can. None of them can, or they won't do it publicly. So let people in the middle or the independents hear this, and I guarantee you, because they want to feel virtuous, they'll start coming towards the right. But instead, we never put up a counter narrative, so they keep drifting left. So the left has capitalized on this by making abortion a reproductive rights issue, playing to the heartstrings of the independents, and we gotta do something. We got to do something different. The vast majority of abortions in the first place occur, I think 95% occur within the first 15 weeks in the first place. So for those of you that want to kill your baby, you can still go out and kill your baby. I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. All right. And someone is going to nationalize abortion. It's either going to be us or it's going to be them, because they're going to nationalize it. That's what they're trying to do. They're doing it state by state. They've done it in Ohio. They've done it in Kansas. We looked at these issues as losing issues. That's not what it is. Guys, do you understand what these amendment processes, what they do? They go and write these amendments, and they're trying to do it in Florida right now. We've already reelected Ron DeSantis. We reelected him by a large majority. This is a guy that ran on a 6-week abortion ban, a heartbeat bill. And instead of barely winning his election like he did in 2018 by like 20 something thousand votes, he won by over 1 million votes. And he went to the quote unquote extreme when it came to abortion rights. The same is true with the Governor Greg Abbott of Texas. There was someone else. So it's simply not true that this is a losing issue. It's when you fight the issue and put the left on the defense, we win. It's as simple as that. And quite frankly, none of the people that Trump supported or endorsed, I think with the exception of one, said, listen, no exceptions whatsoever. I mean, look at Dr. Oz in Philadelphia. He was basically pro-choice, still got his butt beat by John Fetterman that was literally almost a vegetable at the time. So please don't give me this nonsense. I don't know why conservatives believe this stuff and don't buy into data. But somebody is going to nationalize abortion. That's what they're trying to do with the amendment process. Confuse people with these amendments. It sounds so nice and peachy fuzzy. And then when you get to, they only put 1 line or 2 lines on the ballot. And then you find out that the law is, or the amendment is something that's like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 pages long that no one can, obviously, they can't fit on a ballot. And they're so misleading. So it can win. These processes can win. And the goal is to undermine states like Kansas, like Ohio, and turn them back blue. Because if you can get abortion on the ballot in those states, then what can you do? You can start getting out the vote efforts on college campuses again in those areas. And states that are red, you can turn them blue by using the useful idiots on college campuses. That's what they want to do. That is the goal. So if you think you're going to run away from this issue, it's because you're a coward. I'm sorry. I'm going to just call you out because the issue isn't going anywhere. Better learn to put these fools on defense. We're going to have to do it. All right, guys, listen, I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Oh, also, please make sure. Oh, never mind, man. I mean, great sponsors. we got My Pillow. Make sure you please support our sponsors, and also Wealth Protection Research. Do not forget about them. You can text the word IDEAS, IDEAS, to 76626 to claim your free copy. All right. So until next time, guys, do not grow weary doing good, and God bless you.